I'm Tony Dokoupil here with Sebastian Junger, the author of War, director of Restrepo, and a war correspondent for 2 decades. We're talking about war, the experience of combat, and how to bring people home from it. Now, there are doctors at the VA who are proposing a new understanding of PTSD, one that has to do with loss, the loss of friends, and also something they've called moral injury. The idea that you somehow failed to live up to your own standards, or you've witnessed standards that are behaviors that violate your understanding of good and evil, how the world should work. Moral injury, is that a term that resonates with you?
A moral injury absolutely resonates with me. We are told killing is wrong. In absolute terms, it's morally wrong, it's legally wrong, it's ethically wrong. You cannot kill other people. So you grow up in that environment, and then suddenly you're being told to kill. And personally, I think there are political reasons where being prepared to kill makes sense. I mean, I think it's a complicated, dangerous world, and every country needs an army, unfortunately. It gets complicated. But when you understand that killing's wrong, and then you go out and kill for your country, it produces an irreconcilable conflict. And I know as a journalist, even I've never held a gun in combat, and I've never been responsible for another person's death. But even witnessing those things creates a sense of shame and guilt. And if you're actually with a weapon in combat, that sense of shame, I think, is greatly multiplied. And that's where moral injury comes in. And I think it actually is the source of tremendous grief back home. I mean, I've had PTSD in the sense that I have a fearful, startled reaction to loud noises, things like that, bad dreams. But those eventually go away. I mean, they just dissipate. I don't think a wound to your soul can ever really dissipate until it's treated in some way.
How do we help absolve soldiers of it when they come home?
Well, here's what happens. A nation sends its soldiers to war, and then it pretends that the war belongs to the soldiers. Well, we sent people to war. We sent hundreds of thousands of soldiers to war, and without arguing the merits of these wars, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
Soldiers come back from combat having killed and finding a society that does not acknowledge the country's role in those killings. So
you have an idea for acknowledging this, the Innocence Memorial.
Yeah, I think in terms of the mental health of soldiers, the thing that we need is a monument to civilians who have died. I mean, if our soldiers and our civilians on 9/11 died in some sense for freedom, then Iraqi and Afghan civilians who have been killed in car bombs, in firefights, also died for freedom. And that has to be acknowledged. And I think if society acknowledges the sorrow of those deaths, our soldiers will understand that the entire society is acknowledging what we've done.
So let's hope that it happens. Sebastian, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate your time.